So hello students, our today's topic is about the lymphatic system. So first of all, lymphatic system, it is a network of the vessels through which a clear fluid flows that is known as the lymph. So remember, it is a one-way system that moves the lymph from the tissues toward the blood. Now let us discuss about the organization of the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system, it begins in the tissue space as meshwork of tiny vessels. We call it them as lymph capillaries. So the lymph capillaries start as large blind end terminals that are known as capillary bulb. So these bulb, it contains valve that ensure that the lymph it flows in one direction. Now what are the starting points of the lymphatic system called? They are known as the lymphatic capillaries. Now these lymph capillaries, remember, they are lined by the endothelial cells. So they unite to form large lymphatic vessels. So lymphatic vessels, they become larger as more tributaries they join them. So lymph capillaries, they are more porous than the blood capillaries that allow the fluid to enter but not flow back. Remember, the large lymph vessels, they form a right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. Remember the right lymphatic duct, it opens into right subclavian vein, and the thoracic duct, it opens into the left subclavian vein. So remember, the thoracic duct, it drains the lymph from more than the 2/3 of the body tissue space. So where does the right lymphatic duct open into? It open into the right subclavian vein. Now let us discuss about the situation of the lymph vessels. The lymph vessels, they are located in several regions of body, like the deeper layer of skin, subcutaneous tissue, diaphragm, wall of abdominal cavity, omentum, and lining of the digestive tract. So name one region where lymphatic vessels, they are located. The answer is the deep layer of the skin. Now which one is the feature of the lymph capillaries? They start as capillary bulbs. That's the answer. Where does the thoracic duct open into? It open into the left subclavian vein that we have already discussed. And what is the function of the muscles around the capillary bulbs? It's to push the lymph throughout the vessel. Now this lymphatic system, it is important for maintaining the fluid balance in the body by returning the excess tissue fluid to the bloodstream. The lymph capillaries, it plays an important role in absorbing this fluid from the tissue and ensure that there is a one-way flow of the lymph and preventing the backflow. So can anyone explain why the lymphatic system is considered a one-way system? Because it only allows the lymph to flow from the tissue toward the blood and not in the opposite direction. Now let us discuss about the structure of the lymph node. The lymph node, remember, it has a cortex. The cortex, it contains primary and the secondary follicles. The primary follicles, they develop first and they proliferate to form the secondary follicle. The germinal center, remember, in the follicle, it's the site for active cell proliferation and contains B lymphocytes and macrophages. So what is found in the cortex of the lymph node? The primary and secondary lymphoid follicles, B lymphocytes and the macrophages. The other region is the paracortex region. So what is it is located between the cortex and the medulla, and what is found in the paracortex? It contains T lymphocytes. So what are the type of cells that are found in paracortex? Remember, they are the T. Other is the medulla part. The medulla, it contains B and T lymphocytes and macrophages. And blood vessels, they pass through the medulla. So what structures and cells they are found in medulla? B lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, macrophages and the blood vessels. Now remember, the lymph nodes, they receive lymph via afferent blood vessels by the afferent lymphatic vesicles that divides into small channels. So lymph passes through these channels into the cortex, paracortex and the medulla and leaves the node through these afferent vessels. So lymph enter through afferent vesicles and leave through the afferent vessels. Now lymph nodes, remember, they are located in areas like elbow, axilla, knee, groin and neck. Now what is the function of the lymph node? First of all, it helps in filtering. It helps to filter the bacteria and toxin substance from the lymph. The water and electrolytes, they are removed, proteins and lipids, they are retained. So what do the lymph node filter from the lymph? Bacteria and the toxin substance. Second, it plays a role in defense. Like the macrophages in the lymph node, they destroy the bacteria and the toxin substance. Apart from that, the lymph node, they act as a defense barrier. Now, why the lymph nodes, they are called the defense barrier? Because they contain macrophages that will that destroy the bacteria and toxic substance. Now, remember that whenever infection occurs or during infection, the lymph nodes in the affected area, they swell due to their increased activity. And what is the most common cause of the swollen lymph node would be the infection. And swelling, it is generally reduces within 1 to 2 weeks after the recovery. So, question: which region does not have a lymph vessels? The answer is central nervous system. Now let us discuss what could be the cause of the lymph node swelling. It either could be the infection, like swelling of the lymph nodes that can occur as a skin infection of the arms, or it can occur due to the tonsillitis, throat infection, or viral infection like the glandular fever that can occur. So what infection causes swelling of lymph node in the neck? The answer would be tonsillitis. Second, cancer. Cancer can spread to the nearby lymph nodes causing swelling. So throat cancer may spread to the lymph nodes in the neck. Lung cancer may spread to the lymph node in the chest. Breast cancer may spread to the lymph node in the armpit, etc. Now let us discuss about the formation of the lymph. The lymph, it is formed from the interstitial fluid due to the permeability of the lymph capillaries. When blood passes through the blood capillaries in the tissue, 90% of the 90% of the fluid re-enters the blood capillaries. 10% of the fluid enters the lymph capillaries, which are more permeable than the blood capillaries. So this fluid, it would become lymph, and it has a composition as similar as the interstitial fluid, including the protein content. So what percentage of fluid enter the lymphatic capillaries from the tissues? The answer is it's the 10%. Second question, what happens to lymph as it passes through the lymph nodes? Remember, it becomes concentrated due to the absorption of the water and the electrolyte. Second question is, what is the rate of the lymph flow? Remember that around 120 ml of lymph, it flows into the blood per hour. The 100 ml per hour flows through the thoracic duct, and 20 ml per hour flows through the right lymphatic duct. So how much lymph flows through into the blood per hour through the thoracic duct? It's the 100 ml per hour. Now, what are the factors that would increase the lymphatic flow? The answer would be increase in the interstitial fluid pressure. Second, increase in the blood capillary pressure. Increase surface area of the lymph capillaries. Increase permeability of the lymph capillaries. So these all would increase the lymph flow. Now remember, lymph, it is usually a clear and colorless fluid, and around 96% of it is water and 4% is solid. Now what is the function of the lymph? It returns the proteins from the tissue spaces to the blood. It helps to redistribute the fluid in the body. The third, it removes the bacteria, toxin, and other foreign body from the tissue. It helps to maintain the structural and functional integrity of the tissue. So these all are the function of the lymph.